build software to fight in the situation of children. And that's our core mission.
It has become common knowledge that Ashton Kutcher is the individual known for revealing suspicious activities within Hollywood. However, his recent statement has generated significant attention and discussion among internet users.
Ashton Kutcher calls him kind, courteous, and hardworking. He has always treated people with decency, equality, and generosity. The letters did not sway the judge.
Well, the letter not only fell short in its attempt to influence the judges, but also failed to resonate with the general public. This development has led to fresh speculations suggesting that Ashton may be concealing his true identity as a gatekeeper for Hollywood elites. During an interview, this is what Sharon Osbourne said.
He used to do that 70s show.
Ashton Kutcher?
Yes.
Really?
Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, rude little boy.
This statement aligns closely with the public's perception of Ashton, as he has intermittently shown support for some of the highly accused celebrities in Hollywood, which designates him as the gatekeeper.
Seriously, I believe that it is my effort to defend their right to pursue happiness and to ensure a society and government that defends it as well.
You might be wondering why, if he was indeed involved in gatekeeping, Ashton also engaged in positive actions that portrayed him as a responsible family man. However, there's much more to discover, and this video will delve into those aspects. So let's get started. Lately, the online world has been buzzing with excitement as internet users come across startling revelations about the reality of what's occurring within the Hollywood industry. From covert gatherings to numerous concealed illicit activities, sources have disclosed that Hollywood is no longer a secure working environment. In response to these allegations, Ashton Kutcher has also shared some insights into the activities taking place in Hollywood and issued a direct warning to the Hollywood elites involved in these actions.
That's a breeding ground for I promise you that's a breeding ground for But the reason I looked at foster care is that it's a microcosm.
This serves as a serious cautionary message to prominent figures in Hollywood who have thus far escaped accountability. There's a prevailing belief that these influential moguls have transformed Hollywood into a realm of blatant but widely acknowledged secrets, where sinister activities are concealed but well known. Despite Hollywood's reputation, attempts to address these issues were often met with silence and trepidation. The case of Harvey Weinstein, for instance, illustrates this point, as his actions remained undisclosed for years. It was only when the truth finally came to light that people began to comprehend the significant role played by power dynamics and institutional betrayals in perpetuating such behavior. According to the public, this institution is more specifically related to Hollywood because they think that it is the most notorious place for all these actions to take place. As one of them wrote, "If only was the only problem in Hollywood. But sadly, so much goes on that most of us normal people couldn't even imagine in our worst nightmares." Another wrote that has been entertainment for a long time. It's gross, it's confusing for adults, and it's devastatingly confusing for children, especially the silent victims of. These individuals have been exposed to numerous tales about Hollywood's hidden dark truths, leaving them deeply apprehensive. A glaring example of this is evident in the Weinstein Company, where women had been speaking out for years, yet their claims went largely disbelieved, as Harvey had become a prominent figure in pop culture.
And he immediately starts massaging my neck. I heard him open a bottle of champagne, and I don't even think I had a sip, and he exposed himself.
Despite the allegations against him, Harvey Weinstein continued to lead his production companies, producing blockbuster films and receiving one Oscar after another. To many, Harvey was considered a deity within the industry. However, there were also young, aspiring artists whom Harvey deceived and effectively silenced. This immense power enabled him to continue his predatory behavior for years.
Began to try to get more physical in other ways. This culminated in her running away from him and, in her words, him chasing her around a room.
While nothing has been definitively proven, all available evidence points to Harvey's involvement in very grave misconduct. One victim, hailing from Italy, accused Harvey of coercive actions against her. Driven by fear of retribution, she reluctantly acquiesced to his demands. According to the victim, "I know he has crushed a lot of people before. That's why this story, in my case, it's 20 years old, some of them are older, has never come out." The initial exposure of Harvey's involvement in multiple sexual misconduct incidents came to light through the New York Times. Subsequently, a multitude of women stepped forward, disclosing that during the 1990s, they had allegedly been subjected to harassment by him. Harvey was accused not only of harassing these women, but also of coercing them into engaging in explicit acts. Notably, it's important to mention that all these artists were relatively junior and newcomers to the industry at that time. Indeed, as per certain sources, prominent figures in the industry were already privy to Harvey's wrongdoing. When Ashton openly supported Danny Masterson, it drew significant attention and raised questions among the public and media alike.
Any comments?
Over 5 years after Danny Masterson's allegations surfaced, his former That 70s Show co-star Ashton Kutcher breaks his silence.
Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were among over 50 individuals who penned letters to the judge in the Danny Masterson trial, expressing support for the actor prior to his sentencing, according to court documents. Kutcher and Kunis, who are married and have 2 young children together, previously worked alongside Masterson on the Fox sitcom That 70s Show, which aired for 8 seasons and consisted of 200 episodes from 1998 to 2006. Additionally, Kutcher and Masterson collaborated on Netflix's The Ranch. However, Masterson was written out of the show during its 3rd season after facing assault allegations in 2017.
Also tonight, a judge in Los Angeles sentenced actor Danny Masterson to 30 years to life in prison.
Before his sentencing, Masterson's victims delivered impactful statements to the court, portraying the 47-year-old as a predator. Following the sentencing, one of Masterson's lawyers maintained his innocence and stated that the legal battle was far from over. The appellate lawyers are confident that these convictions will be overturned, he said. So, Mila and Ashton showed their support for the convicted rapist before he received a prison sentence of 30 years to life for sexually assaulting 2 women at his Hollywood Hills residence 2 decades ago.
And I questioned whether any of the celebrities who may have submitted letters for Danny were perfectly aware that these letters are a matter of public record.
In letters submitted to the court before the sentencing, Kunis and Kutcher presented a contrasting image of the disgraced actor, one that sharply contrasted with the ruthless predator described by his victims, who had alleged that he had forcefully subjected the women to the substance use, and he did some really heinous acts on them. Kunis, who is married to Kutcher, highlighted Masterson's role as a husband and father to his daughter, describing it as nothing short of extraordinary. She also credited Masterson for his steadfast dedication to discouraging the use of drugs. She wrote in her letter, "Throughout our time together, Danny has proven to be an amazing friend, confidant, and above all, an outstanding older brother figure to me. His caring nature and ability to offer guidance have been instrumental in my growth both personally and professionally. Witnessing his interactions with his daughter has been heartwarming and enlightening." She further added, "He prioritizes his family, education, and happiness above all else, demonstrating his unwavering commitment to being a loving and responsible parent. As a father, he leads by example, instilling in her values that reflect integrity, compassion, and respect for others." Kunis also wrote about Danny's influence over her. She wrote, "His influence on me in this regard has been invaluable. In an industry where the pressures and temptations of substance use can be overwhelming, Danny played a pivotal role in guiding me away from such destructive paths." Kutcher echoed similar sentiments in his letter to the court, referring to Masterson as an excellent role model and a dedicated and loyal husband. In contrast to the portrayal of Masterson as a predator by his victims, Kutcher described an incident where Masterson courageously came to the defense of a vulnerable woman. He wrote in the letter, "While I'm aware that the judgment has been cast as guilty on 2 counts of by force, and the victims have a great desire for justice, I hope that my testament to his character is taken into consideration in sentencing. I do not believe he is an ongoing harm to society, and having his daughter raised without a present father would be a tertiary injustice in and of itself." These letters came to light a day after Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Charlene Olmedo handed down a sentence to Masterson. Unless successfully appealed, this sentence all but ensures that the actor will not be eligible for parole until he reaches senior citizen status. However, Kutcher faced heavy criticism regarding this incident. One person wrote, "Really? When Ashton has a nonprofit dedicated to child..." Not the exact same thing, but it's adjacent. That's weird. Another person said, "That nonprofit is yikes. I used to work as a social worker with an agency assisting survivors of sex, and his org is very iffy." That's it for today, folks. Until next time, goodbye.